Dust chokes the air. The Persian army, a sea of bronze and leather, stretches as far as the eye can see. Opposing them, a smaller but no less determined force, the Macedonians, led by Alexander the Great. This is Gaugamela. The fate of Persia hangs in the balance. At the heart of the Persian host stands Darius III, the last king of a dynasty that has ruled for centuries. This is the story of Darius III, the last king of Persia. The Persian Empire, a realm of unparalleled grandeur, had once stretched from the Aegean Sea to the Indus River. For generations, the kings of Persia had commanded vast armies, amassed untold wealth, and shaped the destiny of the ancient world. But by the time Darius III ascended to the throne, the empire's foundations had begun to crumble. Internal strife, fueled by ambitious nobles and courtly intrigue, weakened the empire from within. The once feared Persian army, plagued by corruption and complacency, was a shadow of its former self. Darius inherited not a mighty empire at its zenith, but a realm in turmoil, its glory days fading into memory. Darius III was not born a king. His path to the throne was paved with intrigue, betrayal, and bloodshed. His predecessor, Artaxerxes III, met an untimely end, poisoned by the ambitious eunuch Bagoas. Bagoas, a cunning manipulator, placed Artaxerxes' son on the throne, hoping to rule through a puppet king, but his scheme unraveled when the young king proved too independent. With the royal line seemingly extinguished, Bagoas needed a new puppet settling on a distant relative, Artashata, who would assume the throne name Darius III. Little did Bagoas know that Darius would prove to be no puppet. Darius III's ascension to the throne was anything but smooth. The sudden death of Artaxerxes III, followed by the swift removal of his heir, created a power vacuum that Bagoas was eager to fill. But Bagoas had misjudged his man. Darius, though thrust into the spotlight, was no mere pawn. He had ruled as a satrap and knew the burden of responsibility. The early days of Darius's reign were marked by a delicate dance between king and kingmaker. Bagoas, the architect of Darius's ascent, soon became a thorn in the new king's side. Accustomed to the shadows, he found his influence waning. Darius, no puppet to be manipulated, was determined to rule in his own right. Whispers of discontent began to circulate, spread by Bagoas's loyalists. Darius, aware of the whispers, moved cautiously, knowing that to confront Bagoas directly would be to risk open rebellion. The tension between king and kingmaker cast a pall over the Persian court. While Darius III grappled with the machinations of Bagoas, a far greater threat was brewing on the fringes of his vast empire. The seeds of discontent, sown by years of oppressive rule and heavy taxation, were beginning to sprout. Egypt, once a jewel in the Persian crown, chafed under the yoke of its conquerors. Rebellions flared up with alarming regularity. Darius, preoccupied with securing his own position, found himself forced to divert precious resources to quell these uprisings. The empire, once a monolith, was fracturing. Darius III inherited an empire on the brink. Years of extravagant spending, coupled with increasing corruption among the satraps, had drained the royal coffers. The once feared Persian army, its ranks swollen with mercenaries and conscripts, lacked the discipline and fighting spirit of its predecessors. Rebellions, once easily crushed, now flared up with alarming regularity, stretching the empire's resources thin. Darius, desperate to assert his authority, dispatched armies to quell the unrest, but each victory seemed to breed new challenges. The Persian Empire, once a beacon of stability and order, was crumbling from within. The unrest within the Persian Empire was not confined to its distant provinces. Even within the heartland of Persia, whispers of discontent could be heard in the bustling marketplaces and shadowy corners of the royal court. The common people, burdened by heavy taxes and weary of endless wars, grumbled about the incompetence of their rulers. The extravagance of the Persian court, once a symbol of the empire's wealth and power, now seemed like a decadent spectacle tone-deaf to the suffering of the people. Darius III, facing challenges on multiple fronts, found himself walking a tightrope. He needed to appease the nobles while addressing the concerns of the common people. Darius III bore the weight of a glorious past on his shoulders. He was the heir to a dynasty that had ruled for centuries, a dynasty that had produced some of the ancient world's most celebrated rulers. But the legacy they left behind was a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it inspired awe and respect, a testament to the enduring power of the Persian Empire. On the other hand, it cast a long shadow against which Darius's own achievements were inevitably measured. The Persian Empire, once the undisputed master of the East, was about to face a new kind of enemy. While Darius III grappled with the immense challenges of ruling a fractured empire, a new threat was emerging in the west. In the rugged lands of Macedon, a young king named Alexander, schooled in war and ambition, was forging a destiny that would forever alter the course of history. Alexander was no ordinary ruler. Tutored by Aristotle, he was steeped in Greek philosophy, literature, and military strategy. He inherited from his father, Philip II, a powerful army, honed by years of warfare and equipped with cutting-edge weaponry. Darius, preoccupied with his own internal struggles, considered Alexander a minor nuisance, a problem to be dealt with later. A gathering storm. The clash between the Persian Empire and Alexander the Great was the culmination of centuries of animosity. Persians viewed the Greeks as unruly barbarians, while Greeks saw Persians as decadent despots. Alexander's invasion was a crusade to avenge past Persian aggressions, and he cast himself as a liberator. The Battle of Granicus was the first major battle between Alexander the Great and the Persian Empire. It took place in 334 BC near the Granicus River in modern-day Turkey. Alexander's forces, though outnumbered, managed to secure a decisive victory, setting the stage for his subsequent conquests. The battle demonstrated Alexander's tactical genius and the effectiveness of the Macedonian phalanx. The Persians, expecting a straightforward victory, relied heavily on their cavalry. However, Alexander's strategic acumen turned the tide. He led a daring charge across the river, catching the Persian forces off guard. The Macedonian phalanx, with its impenetrable formation, advanced relentlessly. The Persians were unprepared for the intensity and coordination of Alexander's attack. Despite their numerical advantage, they were overwhelmed by the discipline and determination of the Macedonian troops. The Persian lines faltered and then broke, leading to a chaotic retreat. This victory not only boosted the morale of Alexander's army, but also sent a clear message to the Persian Empire. Alexander was not just another invader. He was a force to be reckoned with. The Battle of Granicus marked the beginning of a series of conquests that would eventually bring the Persian Empire to its knees. With this triumph, Alexander solidified his reputation as a military genius and set the stage for the epic clashes that were to follow. The Battle of the Granicus River sent shockwaves through the Persian Empire. The Battle of Issus, fought in 333 BCE, was a crucial test between Alexander and Darius. Darius, with a vast army, believed the narrow terrain would negate Alexander's tactics. Alexander saw an opportunity and divided his forces. The general Parmenion held the Persian left, while Alexander led the assault on the right. The disciplined Macedonian phalanx advanced with precision. Alexander's cavalry outmaneuvered the Persians. Darius, witnessing the collapse, fled the battlefield, demoralizing his troops. The narrow terrain of Issus played a pivotal role as it restricted the movement of Darius's larger forces. Alexander's tactical brilliance shone as he exploited the terrain to break through the Persian lines. The Persian army, unable to regroup, fell into disarray. The victory at Issus was a significant blow to Darius III's reign and marked a turning point in the Persian Empire's decline. This battle not only showcased Alexander's military genius, but also paved the way for his further conquest into the heart of the Persian Empire. Retreat and regroup, Darius's desperate gamble. The Battle of Issus was a crushing defeat for Darius, a blow from which his empire would never fully recover. He had lost not only thousands of men and a vast amount of treasure, but also his reputation as the invincible great king. News of his defeat spread like wildfire throughout his empire, sowing doubt and unrest in its wake. Darius, humbled but not broken, retreated eastward, seeking to regroup and rebuild his shattered forces. He sent envoys to Alexander, offering a vast ransom for his family and proposing a peace treaty that would cede large swathes of territory to the Macedonians. But Alexander, sensing Darius's weakness and emboldened by his victories, rejected the offer. He would settle for nothing less than the complete subjugation of the Persian Empire. Darius, realizing that further negotiations were futile, prepared for a final confrontation. He gathered his remaining forces, summoning troops from the far reaches of his empire, fierce Bactrian cavalry, armored Indian war elephants, and Scythian archers mounted on swift horses. He would meet Alexander on a battlefield of his choosing, a vast plain where his numerical superiority could be brought to bear. The Persian king, once accustomed to the trappings of power, now hardened by defeat and fueled by a desire for revenge, would stake everything on one final, desperate battle. He would face Alexander again, and this time he would be ready. Gaugamela thunder on the plains. 2 years after Issus, Darius and Alexander met again at Gaugamela. The Persian king chose a vast open plain, ideal for his chariots and cavalry. He drilled his troops, instilling a burning desire for revenge. War elephants and scythed chariots awaited the order to charge. Darius, atop a golden chariot, surveyed his troops. Alexander deployed his forces in a flexible formation. Chariots thundered towards the Macedonian lines, but Alexander's troops held firm, their shields interlocked. Flight from Gaugamela, the earth trembled beneath the weight of defeat. The Persian lines crumbled under the relentless Macedonian assault. Darius, witnessing the carnage, felt a chill grip his heart. Gaugamela, his last desperate gamble, was lost. Urged on by his terrified charioteer, Darius fled. The sun marked him as a fugitive in his own kingdom. Behind him, the victorious roars of the Macedonians. He had escaped, but the memory of defeat clung to him. Exhaustion gnawed at Darius as he fled eastward with the remnants of his shattered army. Each sunrise brought news of fresh Macedonian victories, each sunset a reminder of his dwindling power. Gone were the opulent tents, the lavish feasts, the fawning courtiers. Now, surrounded by a dwindling band of loyal followers, he was a king in exile, his fate uncertain. Betrayal, like a venomous serpent, coiled around Darius's heart. Bessus, a satrap who had pledged his allegiance, saw an opportunity in the king's misfortune. He, along with other ambitious nobles, weary of defeat and eager to curry favor with the seemingly unstoppable Alexander, hatched a treacherous plot. Under the cover of darkness, Bessus and his co-conspirators seized Darius, stripping him of his remaining finery, his dignity. They bound him in chains, a cruel mockery of his former glory. The king, who once commanded the loyalty of millions, was now a prisoner of his subjects, his fate resting in the hands of those who had sworn to serve him. Thank you for watching this episode on the rise and fall of Darius III. If you found this story intriguing, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Taleforge TV. In our next episode, we will uncover the mysterious circumstances surrounding King Darius's death. Who really killed him, and what ancient secret lies behind his final moments? And perhaps most intriguingly, how would history have changed if Alexander the Great had captured him alive? Stay tuned and see you next time.